I want to get your take on a football decision here by the Dallas Cowboys to essentially not take care of Dak Prescott. They gave Amari Cooper a long-term deal. They gave Dak the exclusive franchise tag. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, it's really been interesting, this whole Dak Prescott contract thing, as you listen to it, throughout the whole season last year, all throughout this offseason. You would think that one position on your team, you would try and get that solidified as quickly as possible. But I think it all comes down to negotiating, and I'm sure the Cowboys have a number and a number of years and a number of guarantees that they want to see happen, and I'm sure Dak and his representatives have their number, and they just haven't gotten close to that yet. But I think it is closer than what we think, but it still hasn't gotten done. So we're talking about a lot of money here, and I'm sure Dak's representatives want to make sure he stays in line with some of the other guys who are probably going to sign here in the next year or so, if not beforehand, whether it's Patrick Mahomes or whether it's Lamar Jackson. With the salary cap going up, they want to make sure Dak's contract stays in line with those guys. They don't want to lowball him right now. So I'm sure that's the problem. And then Jerry wants to make sure he doesn't guarantee too much money for the future. So this is all negotiating. It's definitely taken longer than it should for a quarterback in their football team, especially a guy who's done as much as he has for their team. But hopefully it gets done before that July deadline.
I totally follow you, Warren, when you're talking about just the business aspects of it all. But from a football perspective, considering the fact that a running back has been paid, offensive linemen have been paid, linebackers have been paid, wide receiver has been paid, but your quarterback is the last in line, knowing football the way that you do and all the intricacies that involve it. What are your thoughts about the fact that the quarterback seems to be the last dude at the table being fed, per se? Is that a good thing for a football team to do?
No, I don't think so, Steve. That was what I led off my comments with. It's really a surprise to me that the most important position on your team you haven't taken care of yet, but that seems to be the fact. And I think when you talk about those other guys that have signed, whether it's a wide receiver, whether it's the running back and Zeke, those guys were first-round draft picks, and I think that kind of adds to this, where Dak was a fourth-round draft pick, and sometimes that plays into the minds of organizations too as well, and you don't really get the respect that you probably deserve because of where you were drafted. So I'm not sure how much that plays into it, but there's no question that if he was a first-round draft pick and if he had done the things that he's done over the first 4 years of his career, this contract would have been done by now.
Warren, I made a prediction, famously at this point, of Tom Brady falling off the cliff, as I've since amended it to more like a ravine. He's been, down year over year the last couple seasons, but here he is with another starting job. And the reason I did that was because no elite quarterback had ever performed, still as an elite quarterback, except for Warren Moon for a year, past a certain age, as the guy who, in fact, was the exception that proved the rule. Because you went to the Pro Bowl, what were you, 41, 42 that year?
Yeah.
What do you see as Tom Brady's outlook for this upcoming season, and how much longer do you think he could go?
Well, as you get older, there are certain things that kind of, take their toll on your body physically. You don't bounce back as fast. But I think Tom takes very excellent care of himself. He's not a guy that gets beat up a lot because he gets rid of the football. He doesn't hold it a long time. And I think as you get older, you need much more talent around you to help you not have to carry the football game yourself. And he's going to have that in Tampa. He's going to have two top-flight receivers on the outside. He's got two really good tight ends. I'm not sure if their running game is up to speed right now, but if they can improve their running game, they're going to take a lot of pressure off Tom, and Tom will still be able to be Tom, make the great decisions that he makes, create the culture and improve the culture that's already there in Tampa. And they're just going to be a team when it comes down the stretch in games. He's going to help them win those tight football games. So he brings a lot to the table, and I think the thing that's going to really help him is the talent that's around him. All he has to do is get the ball out there. These guys will make plays for him.
Where would you like to see Cam end up?
Cam is a guy at this stage of his career, if he is healthy, he can still start in this league. He's only about 30, 31 years old, so he's still got some really good years left, even though he has been banged up a lot over the last 4 years. But he's not a guy I don't see going somewhere where he can be a backup. He still brings a lot to the table if he's healthy. The thing that concerns me is his personality. He's a big-time personality. He brings a lot to the table when he comes to a team. And there's some teams that probably could deal with that, and there are other teams that don't want their leader to be that type of personality. So that's where he's going to find the problem in trying to find another home. But I think the L.A. Chargers could be a possibility for him because they right now have Tyrod Taylor as their starter, and also maybe the Jacksonville Jaguars because they have Gardner Minshew as their starter, and he's not a solidified starter in this league. So I think there are some opportunities out there for Cam, but he would definitely have to sit down with the organization, and they have to really figure out if his personality and what he brings to the table, and if he's healthy, all those things are going to mesh to make him a starter for one of those football teams.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.